Okay, thank you. So we have been discussing JavaScript, specifically the various aspect of JavaScript, and last time we have discussed the objects. Objects is a kind of a property or a variable or a data type, you can say, which can contain the it's another. It's like a structure in C or it's like a dictionary in Python. We have an object in JavaScript, but object in JavaScript is very powerful compared to uh, the other. For example, in Python, you can't have a function as a value for any dictionary property. In case of Python, dictionary is just for data. Here you can have more than just a data. Important thing over here is object references and copying. The only thing which I want to discuss is that whenever you, let's say you have one variable message, you are saying message is equal to hello, and then you are saying another variable fars is equal to message. So ideally, in case of string, you have two variables in a memory. But in case of object, let's say you have this let user is an object. So you will have a user object over here in a memory. And later on, when you say let admin is equal to user, where user is some object, then it is not like this. It will not create another copy. It will simply create a reference. So you have a original user object over here. So there is one pointer which is pointing to that location, and then you are creating another variable. So basically you are copying the reference. So if you change the property of user or if you change the property of admin, it will update only a single property. So if I say user.name is equal to John, then if I say admin.name is equal to this, then again if you print user.name, then it will print the updated value because it's basically a reference. And due to that, you can have a specific comparison of an object. So let's say you have created one object, A is equal to this, then you are creating a reference of it, so B is equal to A. Then if you use A double equal to B, then it is true because they all are both are referring to the same element. But when you have something like this, A is equal to an object, B is another object. So here you are creating two independent objects, and if you perform A is equal to B, then result is false because even though both object contains are same, but they are not the same object. They are referring to the different object. So then how do I create a copy? If I want to create a copy of the object, then you have to use, it's not that simple in uh, JavaScript. There is no straight away it's possible. Then you have to simply do this. So you have created one object, create another object, a clone object, then copy each and every property of one object to another object. So this is how you can do it. Even though if you change any one of them, but object referencing, you should be careful when you. I will skip this. Okay, I think this we have discussed. Just let us quickly go through this. In entire object, you have this available. This means the current object. So that this keyword will allow you to access any property of that object. So if I think this we have discussed in the yesterday also. So there are two properties, actually three property: name, age, and say hi. So where say hi is a function, then name and age are two different values. So whenever I access this dot name, it means that object, which property? Name property. So this is very useful. Uh, So even if you use this over here, it will not give any syntax error, remember. Okay, another thing which I want to discuss, yes, this arrow over here, yes, this one. This is a function. Now if I say this dot name, in the context of this function, but when you use arrow function, so let's say this is your arrow function, so you have created one function called arrow. That function is being called inside another function. So here this will refer to this function even though it is created within the arrow function, because arrow function does not have this. So it has its own advantages, because, and that's why mostly arrow functions are used whenever you have a very specific requirement of task. So when to perform some specific task, then arrow functions are used. You will understand once you start practicing JavaScript where to use arrow function and where to use a normal function. Constructor function, it's a special kind of a function. I think you have studied class, so the syntax is very similar to that. So you have a name of the function. The only thing which is to be remembered is that whenever you are creating a constructor function, they should be named with capital letter. So here we are naming that function as capital letter, and then we are assigning two properties. This dot name is this, and this dot is admin is false. Whenever you want to create an object using constructor function, then you have to use the new. So these are the two things which is required. First, it should be capital, and second, you should use new whenever you want to create an object using a constructor function. So this is basically another way of creating an object. We are using the function to create an object. So this is very similar to this. Okay, so when you write this, it's I think again I will skip something. This is important whenever you have created any object. Let's say user is an object, and user does not have any address property. So when you try to execute user.address, then it will simply print undefined. But when you try to access user.address.street, that means undefined dot something, then it will give an error. You can't access a property of undefined. However, non-existing property you can always access. So whenever you say user.address, it will not give an error actually. So if I execute this, then it will give an error. But if I execute this, then it will simply give an error. So, but anything which is of undefined, like this. So let's say I created this object, and if I simply say this, that console dot log user dot name dot first. Actually, user dot name is defined, so but So that's why it will not give any error. Let's say user dot address dot first. So now in this case, see this. So it will basically create an error and it will stop the execution. This is a fatal error. That means it will not go ahead. So, but if you simply write user.address, again, address is not existing property, but it will not create any fatal error. So execution will go ahead. It will simply consider that particular thing is undefined. So to overcome this, or to handle this kind of a behavior, what you can do is you can use this question mark property. So most of the time you should go something like this, that if user dot address exists, then you print this, otherwise you simply they undefined. So that will, and then again you can chain it as well. So user dot address exists, then if user dot address or street exists, then user dot address street dot name, otherwise null, otherwise null. So you can always use this question, this ternary operator, to check the property. So that's about. Right, so that's what all about the object. I think I'm going deliberately faster in this because it's not in that much depth in your syllabus. Okay. Next is data types. These are not normal data types, but there are some. Okay. So mainly there are types of data type in JavaScript. One is a primitive data type, that means string, number, big integer, boolean, symbol, null, and undefined. And then you have object. An object is very dynamic, so you can have anything inside an object. Of primitive data type as an object. So that is also possible. For example, you have a string hello, and then string has its own methods. So normally, let's see this next. So you have a number property, then you can access that number using string. So let me show you. Let's say you are creating a one string. So let str is equal to hello. Then you have number of different case, right? So console dot log string dot uppercase. It will simply convert it into uppercase. So there are number of methods which are available for string. So for example, if I want to say that, let's see how many methods. Dot anchor, string dot blink, bold, character at, character code at, character point at, concat. So it will concat two string, ends with, it will check for some whether this string ends with something. Then fix the string into some specific number of digits. So if I use, let's say hello, and if I say string dot fixed 2, then I think it will. Okay. Right, so mostly it is used with number actually. So number, let's say this is my one number. If you simply print this number, then it will print the entire floating point value. Sometimes you require to convert into two digits. So this is a floating point number and then you are converting into the string, but that is only using two digits. So I'm not going in the detail of each of these method. You can simply use the various method. For example, in math, you have this function math.floor, math.sil. So let's say if I use this, so you can access so math.let, and you want to round this function. Round means it will convert into the nearest integer. Right, so that 1.77 will be converted to 2. So all the function with mathematical are available in this library: round, uh, sin h, square root, tan h. These are tan inverse, sin inverse, tan inverse, truncate, random, power function. Random will generate a number between 0 and 1, random number. So whenever you are required to generate some random numbers, then this function is used. Power, minimum, maximum, log to the power 2, natural log, log to the power 10. This is also base 10. Right, so there are many math related function you can use. Similarly, you have function related to string. So you have length as well, uppercase, lowercase as well. So there are many functions, and again there is concat, etc. There are many. So you can go through that. These are all useful functions. Special characters, uh, slash n, because it's mostly deal with the HTML. If you want to print the new line, then you can go with slash n. Slash r for quotes, your to back quotes it. So slash and single quote, slash and double quotes. So whenever you want to write, let us say, a string like this, normally this will work, right? So you have a quotes within a double quotes within a single quote, but sometimes you want to print double quotes within a double quotes, then you have to typecast it. So that is possible if you write it in this way, right? So normally you require backslash to typecast double quotes. So then string length, you can straight away write dot length without function. Remember, length is a property and not a function. So if I write this, it will not give you the length. Right? It's not a function, it's a property. So property should be accessed like this without that double quotes. So now you can get that length. Okay, that is also important. strings are immutable. That means see this. You cannot change a string like you are changing in a character. It is impossible to change a character, right? So you can, let's say this is string is equal to hi, and then you are trying to change the first character of the string to h. It will not work. For changing the case, uppercase, lowercase, for searching a substring, you have to use index of function. That index of function will take two parameters. First is substring, that means what you want to search, and sometimes you also mention position. Position will be means from which position you want to search. So starting from 0. If you don't mention it, then it will start with the 0. And this is the string within which you want to search. So mostly string is some string, then you are searching for something. It will return 0, -1, or it will return the position at which this word exists. Remember, the search is always case sensitive. So if you search for widget, inside this capital widget, it will return false. Index of is also very useful. Then last index of, sometimes you want the last position at which this keyword was existing. So let's say there are A's, and A's. There are 3 A's in this, and you want to find out the last index. So in that case, you can simply use this function, last index of. Includes, sometimes you want to check whether A exists in B. Simply you have to just find out true or false. The difference index of means that here it will give you a position, at which position this keyword is existing in this string. But sometimes you just need to check whether A exists in B. So in that case, you can use these includes. So it will simply return true or false. Substring, you can use a function called slice. So this is your main string, slice function, and then first initial position and last position. Last position is optional. So if you say slice on this, let's say slice from 5 and then 8. So it will return starting from the original. So this was my original string, how are you? And then it will return a character between 5 and 8. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Starts with 0 actually. And then it will go till 8th character. So this is how slice works. Then another function for creating the same thing is a substring. There are actually 3 versions: substring, and slice. You can use any one of that. Obviously, there is some differences between these 3. For comparison, you can straight away compare with any operators, and we have discussed that that comparison is lexical. So it will simply compare the character by character in alphabetical order. Sometimes you require a code of the character at some position. So for that, you can use this function. Okay. And there are many, but these are the main aspect. So for string, these are the major function. You can use trim as well. Trim is mainly removes the spaces from front and back. So that is also a very useful function. And next is array. I think this is known to you. So you can create an array using a function as well. So this is a constructor array, or you can, this is the shorthand of this. So either you can do this or this. Normally we don't write this. We always go for this. So this is the initialization of array. Sometimes you want to fill the value within an array, so you can go for this. And unlike string, here you can access individual element. So fruit 0, 1, and 2. Again, in case of array, if you go for dot length, it will give you the length, number of elements within an array. Okay. Then there are some methods for array. Let's say you created an array and you want to push something inside it. So there is a method called push. So that will add an element at the end. So let's say we have created an array. Then if I write sample.push, remember I can create an array of almost everything. So let's say I'm writing this, an object. Okay, so now you have created an object. First element of that array is an object, and second element of that array is a string. So you can push anything inside an array. Normally, array elements contains the similar elements. So you will not come into this scenario, but this is just for your information. So you can use the push function to insert anything. You can also use unshift function. What is that job of unshift is yes, it pushes the element at the beginning. So sometimes so whenever you use push, it will always put that element at the last position. So but sometimes you want it at the initial position, then you can use unshift. Right. So insert it first, then second, and then we have used unshift. So that's why it will put this at the first position. Similarly, if you want to shift will actually remove the elements. So now if you see, right? So first inserted three element and then you use shift. Shift has removed this third element and this is just array now. Okay. You can also use pop, but pop will remove the last element. So okay. So initially there were three element. Third, first, and second, and then you have popped has popped the last element. So now you have only two element inside an array. Okay, so push, pop, shift, unshift. These are the four way to use or insert and update an element. Mostly you will require a for loop over an array. So that you can use, or you can use for each. So normally you require sample dot for each, and then inside that you will use an arrow of function. So what is that arrow function is doing? It will simply printing the element. So let's say there are 3 element, and then we can traverse through those elements using a for each. So this is the syntax for each. This is the name of the array, and then you have one function, but that function should be, normally it is written in arrow format. So that's why this is one of the property of and why you require an arrow function. So here you are writing an arrow function. So that means this is the element which you are gaining, and that element will be available within this object. Okay. Remember, for each is to be used when you are traversing through array, but when you are traversing through object, then you have to use for in. So then you have to use key in object, and then you can access the element like this, object of key. So let us create an object. First is first, second is. So we have created this object, and if you want to traverse through it, then you have to use this syntax. So this is for object, this is for array, right? So this is array traversing and this is object traversing. So if you want to simply print that, okay, so there is a difference between traversing an object and traversing an array. Okay, length. So it's a property. So whenever you insert something inside an array, it will automatically update it. So okay, you can use the new keyword as well, but normally we don't require it. You can also create a multi-dimensional array. So this is how you can do it. You can easily access the element using I and J syntax. You can also convert an array to string. So let's say sample is your array and you want to convert it into string. You can use this function to string. So that will convert that array into the string. Obviously, all the elements will be comma separated. So elements will be separated by a comma. And next, do not compare arrays with double equal to. Okay, it should not be compared with double equal to, because two objects are equal. Remember, array is also an object only in case of script. So two array will be equal to only if they are referring to the same object. Otherwise, even though elements are same, it will not return true. So normally arrays and objects should not be compared, should not be checked against each other using an equal to operator. You should write some functions for it. There is no standard functions available in JavaScript for comparison of object and array. If you want to compare key by key or value by value, obviously there are libraries available. one of that very popular library is Lord Dash, I think. Okay, so this is very popular library for performing something on array as well as on the object. Collection means an object. It's a special type of. So it's very interesting library. You can try it. It is an extended version of JavaScript. So there are many functions which are available in this, which are not available in actually the original object. For example, find key. Right. So let's say you have created this object and you want to find some key inside it. So normally you have to traverse the entire object and then you have to run a for loop or that loop over it, and then you can find it out. But here you can simply call this function and it will simply resolve the value. So this is very interesting library. Again, for let's say array also, there are many methods which are not available in the core JavaScript, plain JavaScript library. Right. So these are the various segment for string. Let's say camel case. There is a uppercase, there is a lowercase, but there is no camel case. So you can use this library. So this is very popular library. Many methods, many things are available in this. This is just for your knowledge. Sometimes we may discuss considering the your syllabus. Okay, so that was about the arrays. This we have discussed, push, pop, etc. But there is splice. Splice is mostly used for deleting an element. So you can simply say delete and then the second element. But you can also use the splice method. That splice method will do what? It will remove from this position this many elements. So that means if you are writing 1 and 1, that means it will remove the element from one position first and second and third element both. Okay. Negative indexes are also allowed sometimes when you want to do something from the end of the array. Let's say this is my array 1 to 5. If I want to remove this 5, then I can use something like this. Well, it can be used for inserting as well. Okay. Then you have a slice. It is must create a subset of array from this positions, this 3 and 4 in another array, then I can use this slice function. Simply concat that array with this array. Array over here, you can pass single and you can say array concat 3, 4. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4 will be merged. Then again, I am saying array concat 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, this is first array, second array. All of them will be merged inside this array. I can also say single value 6 is another value. Again, all these will be merged together. So it's very powerful function concat. For each we have discussed. Searching in an array, you have to use index of function. Similarly, you have last index of function as well and includes as well. So these all are similar to string, but here they are used in the context of element of array. In case of string, they are actually comparing the string or the character sequence. Here you are actually finding the elements, positions, etc. Simply compare the element against what you have passed. But sometimes you want to do something within that, so you can write function like this. Found is equal to sample is my array, so I am finding something. So whatever I am finding, I should pass one. I can use arrow function as well, but this function should return true or false. So let us put it simple. So you should write one function, and that function will return or will identify whether whatever you are looking for is there or not. So now you can write down your logic over here. Normally you will have two parameters over here. One is an element and second is an index. So if I simply so that function will return true or false. If I returns false, then it means that we'll go for the next element. Again, it will go for the third element, fourth element. So whenever it returns true, it means that you have checked your condition. For example, let's say element is uh, includes f return. Right. Let me put this. So this was my array. So I have written a find function. Then what I'm finding is as letter starting if something is containing f. Let's say I'm saying rd. Right. Let's say I'm containing d. Obviously, it will stop at the first finding. Okay, it will not go further. Right. So then you have function called map. Map is very useful when you want to map, let's say, map, and then element to uppercase. So new sample. See this. So what it has done, map function has done. Map function will traverse through each element, and then you will do some procedure over there, and you will convert that particular element into the another versions of it. So this is how you can do it. Sample dot map, then you pass one function. That function contains two parameter, element and index. Index is the position of that element within an array, and then whatever you return over here, that will be the element of this new array, right? So if I return string, then it will be a new string. So let's say if I return then your New array will be converted to array of elements. See this, there is a difference. It was simply an array of string, now you have an array of array. Because I have written an array from this. So it will simply traverse through and that new will be received in a new array. So map is also a very useful function. You can have this sort. Sort will, by default, it will sort in some order, ascending order. But you can also pass some function to that, and you can customize your sorting as well. Okay. Reverse is also there, and reverse the number. Then again, this is useful split and join. Normally, let's say you have this string and you want to split the entire string into tokens, it will convert it into the array. So this first, second, and third will come into this new array. Similarly, you can use join. Join will require to input as an array and it will convert that into string. Let's say you want to concat these three element using a semicolon, then you can use this function. Similar to map, you have a reduce function. The objective of reduce function is to let's say find out the summation. So for that function